such good shit!
Hey everyone, it's Mark Rodriguez here. You're watching the Diving Cutter podcast as we go into the aftermath of All Out, AEW's latest pay-per-view, comparing our predictions with what actually happened. And with me here is Johnny Rodriguez.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm glad to join you guys this pretty cool podcast.
And we also have Jack Knives in the house.
What's up? It's the King is back once again.
And we also have, of course, the original, often imitated but never replicated. We have the retro rocker Rikki Roxx in the house.
Yo, 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 welcome back to the Rock Show, have cats and kittens. You know what they say, it's always 420 somewhere. And so there it is, and here we are.
Alright, guys, so like I said, we're going to do our comparison with what happened, our predictions with what actually happened during the actual AEW event. And we always decide on certain punishments for whoever loses the events and stuff like that. So to show you how serious we really are, here's a quick clip of what happened to the person that lost the last one for Double or Nothing.
Hey guys, just letting you know what I'm doing here. So when I did a recording with Mark for his podcast, we came up with our predictions for AEW's Double or Nothing event in May. And I had agreed that the loser, the one who got the most points lost, as in like the person who predicted the most wrong things, would have to take a shot of hot sauce. Unfortunately, I don't have any hot sauce, and it was so long ago I don't remember how many I got wrong. I know I got it wrong, so instead I decided since there are 9 matches in the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, I'm going to take 9 shots of Tabasco sauce into a shot glass and chug it. So, this is my punishment. I'm a man of my word. Don't anyone dare say otherwise. Alright, here we go. So it's 9 of Tabasco sauce. All right, 9 shots. Here we go. Oh! Oh! Good. Peppery. Not hot, but really peppery in my throat. All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
Wow.
Yeah, I still feel a little burning every time I'm angry watching wrestling.
Yep, and this time's going to be more intense because whoever loses this one is going to have to sign up for Sonny's OnlyFans accounts.
Wow. I mean, if they still have some of that stuff she did with Missy Hyatt back in like 2002,
Oh
that
my
wasn't
god.
too bad. What was that, Wrestling Vixens? I got some of those DVDs. They're not bad.
Oh my god. Okay, guys, so before we all get canceled, we're going to start off with the event. Now, one thing I do want to say, we're going to give our thoughts on the buy-in matches. But these buy-in matches, I don't know what's going on. They kept shifting the order of these things around. Things that were supposed to be for the buy-in were like put in the actual show instead or whatever. So we got 2 buy-in matches. First one, just real quick, is Joey Janela versus Serpentico. That literally came out of nowhere, so none of us could have like voted for it. And then we had the Dark Order versus the Private Party, which Jack Knives is not with us to give his thoughts. So that wouldn't be unfair that all of us have one more or less point, whatever, and also that other match that none of us were prepared for. We'll skip those 2 in terms of the wager, but we'll still discuss them real quick. And I did take notes. My notes are not as overly detailed as Macho Taco. I'll try to cover any spots here and there. And anything I missed or anything I got wrong, especially with the tag matches, you like this dude, whatever. You can say, well, actually, Mark, it was this other guy, whatever. You guys can correct me there when you give our thoughts and reviews. So it'll be a mixture of reviews and also comparing, who won, who lost. So we got AEW All Out live in Jacksonville, Florida, which is cool. Now we got people back in the ring. Not that many people, of course. I think there's limited seats, but hey, we got people. We got fans with masks and social distancing, so that's good. We got Joey Janela with Sonny Kiss backing him, and Serpentico with Luther backing him. I was confused at first because Luther was just in the ring posing for whatever reason, so I thought that, it was a tag match until the match started, and you see Joey and Serpentico going a very long time without tagging the others in. So I'm like, oh, okay. That was so confusing.
Luther was out there posing for the only two die-hard hardcore AEW Dark fans.
Now Luther, like, where is he from, though? Just the Indies, or was he in Impact before? Like, where's he from?
He mostly worked indie shows. He mostly did hardcore scenes, backyard wrestling. He's more known for doing death matches than anything else.
Ah, okay. We need a Luther versus Moxley unsanctioned match. That's what I'm saying. They stopped that. They did that to bring us in, I guess. But I guess Anyways, let's see here. Honestly, the match was pretty standard. I don't really remember too many. I mean, I took some notes, but nothing sounds very.
There was one point in the match, I think near the end. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I think either Joey got kicked or Joey got hit, possibly by the turnbuckle. I'm not sure. But at one point near the end of the match, his mouth had gotten busted open and he started bleeding. And I didn't realize what it was until the end of the match. And I'll let you get to the end of the match, and then I'll go from there.
Yeah, mostly what I see was there was a scene where Joey was on the ropes. He tried to do the moonsault, but Serpentico got out of the way, so he just, nobody home. Serpentico kicked him in the face. I mean, that could have been when. He did a DDT on Joey, but Joey kicked out. Joey grabs Serpentico on an avalanche fisherman buster off the ropes, but Serpentico still kicked out. Luther grabs Joey's ankle when he was trying to run, when you do the thing where you're kind of running, bouncing off the ropes. And Sonny clocks Luther to get him, stop him from interfering. So Joey runs and kicks Luther away. And Joey was too busy, posing to the crowd and shit. So Serpentico smacks him in the face. Joey hits him with a running lariat. And while he's down, Joey climbs into the ropes, does an elbow drop, and he gets the win, which is pretty cool. I don't really remember how often Joey Janela actually wins in matches. But hey, I mean, got to win there.
They usually beat me, so except for the first time.
There you go. You can always rub it in his face at that first time you beat him.
Yeah, I was supposed to get a cruiserweight title shot out of that, and then he went the next night and lost the belt. So think of that what you will, brother.
So any random thoughts on that match, guys? It's just, I don't know, just a random standard match.
Well, like I said, the only thing that was really significant about the match, I believe that when Serpentico kicked him in the face, he did bust his lip open, and he started bleeding quite a lot. And I didn't realize what had happened until after the match. He hits the elbow drop, 1, 2, 3, and he does his standard, pose and, smiling at the camera. And as soon as he smiled, I noticed his 2 front teeth had split horizontally in the opposite direction. So now he has a big gap right in the middle of his mouth. And as I saw that, first thought was Conan the Barbarian. Second thought was they are so lucky that they have a dentist on staff that can just take care of that for them.
Well, she might need a little bit of help her own self, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So I guess all Joey wants for Christmas are his 2 front teeth.
He probably wants some Pabst Blue Ribbon, knowing him as I do.
Oh, man.
Huge Pabst Blue Ribbon guy. I drink them, but
yeah,
it's not my favorite.
All right, so
it seems okay. I'm scrolling real quick on his Facebook because we're distant friends, I guess you'd say, but he seems all right. He's definitely not the kind of guy who would cry about something like getting his teeth split, so I'm sure he's okay. Happy to see him get some face time, even if it is on the buy-in. I thought he might be in the Battle Royal, but at least they got him in there somewhere, and at least he went over, so good for him.
I think Johnny missed that. He was still getting home from work and stuff, and I guess when you watch the replay skips the buy-in and just goes straight to the actual events. That's interesting. I never noticed that before. But again, it's just a regular match. It's not really a big whatever. And like I said before, none of us had a chance to vote. This was literally like a super last minute, like out of nowhere match. So, the most I could say was just that. I'm glad Joey won. And at the beginning, I was just confused by this match out of nowhere. And I thought it was a tag match until I realized that it wasn't. So, just a whole bunch of stuff. So, next match we got here is the Private Party, which is Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy going up against Johnny Silver and Alex Reynolds, which I noticed are just number 3 and number 4. You know how they all got numbers, so that's why I didn't recognize their names, because they just go by their numbers. So 3 and 4. And well, it did mention, the commentary mentioned that Reynolds and Silver did have a recent win on Dark, so they kind of had that going for them.
At this rate, they're now 2 times in a row that they have been in the pre-show. So at this point, wouldn't it be safe to say they should change their name from Private Party to the pre-show party?
Ooh.
No. Oh boy. So Private Party, one of them tries to, let me see here. Okay, so near the end of the whole thing, Private Party had 3 and 4 on the mat, and they were both on ropes. They both tried to jump up to get them, but one of the guys, 3 had like his knees up, so the Private Party, one of them got, hit on the knees. The other one just flat out got out of the way, so he just missed. One of them grabbed Cassidy into a backward slam, but he still kicked out a pin. In the end, Cassidy threw number 3 into Mark to do a cutter, and I posted because he did kind of dive down, so I'm saying that, shall we say a diving cutter, and got him into the ring. And Mark keeps the other guy from breaking up the pin, and 1, 2, 3, Private Party won. And again, since this match was announced like too late, and Jack wasn't there, he didn't get a say. It's just fair we exclude this. I was trying to find the word. I was gonna say disclude, which doesn't exist. We exclude this one from our wager. But yeah, interesting match, pretty good. I did like to see that 3 and 4 did put up a fight. I did think they were possibly going to win, especially after they mentioned that they had won on Dark before. It could be like momentum, but usually these guys are kind of sort of glorified jobbers. All the different 1, 2, 3, 4 numbered guys of the Dark Order. So I mean, they did what they did, I guess. Fill in the extra airtime before the event starts, I guess.
Well, you got 500 million people and an hour of TV every week. You got to try to find time when you can for some of them.
The only thing I noticed is, like, in AEW Dark, they really cram in all them motherfuckers the most they can. Because I've been seeing, like, their thumbnails, and the thumbnails are usually fucking packed with people. Like, they have fucking 8-man matches, like, over. Like they're trying to cram, like, 2 or 3 tag teams as one big team versus 2 or 3 other tag teams as one big team. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like, these Dark episodes are starting to go back to being 2 or 3 hours long.
It's also the fact that AEW Dark, everyone asks, where are the women's matches? Where are all the women's matches? They're on Dark. And that's kind of sad to me, that the fact that they give them any airtime. Just one women's match a week is all I ask. That's all.
I mean, I think 1 per regular show,
I would say 2. At least have one that Sheeta's defending her title, and then another one that's like something else, so we don't have just one.
Right, but on average right now, I actually looked up like a number statistic. They basically said that comparatively in the past month or so, like about since like the past month or two, they've had, hang on, I'm looking at the numbers here. It said, someone wrote it down for me and texted it. They've had of 36 matches, they've had 18 tag matches, 3 women's matches, and the rest are singles matches.
And that's on the regular show.
Yeah.
3 women's matches since they started.
Within a month. Yeah, over a month time. No, actually, over 2 months. I'm sorry, that's over 2 months.
But I mean, like, not counting Dark, that is, you mean?
Not including Dark. I'm talking about the main show on Dynamite.
Mm.
Yeah, they definitely could balance it a little bit more. I will say, getting back to the buy-in, I'm watching the. There is actually, if you want a link, I'll hook you up later. But the buy-in, at least, is available to watch. I'm seeing the. I just got done with.
Well, I mean, it's under YouTube too. It's actually available on their AEW YouTube.
Yeah,
I think that's why they didn't put it on the. I think that's why they didn't put it on the pay-per-view thing, because it's free on YouTube.
Yeah, you mentioned the finish to the Dark Order Private Party. I just watched it and, oh, God. Oof, that's all of it. I didn't care for it. It's like all the worst parts of a lucha match. It's
Okay.
just like, and then a guy gets pinned. It's like, son of a bitch. You guys are on fast forward, like, all the time. And there's like 4 or 5 things that should have been the finish, and then they just do this goofy over the top, like, triple finisher type deal. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Mm. So now we're going to start with the actual event. We're going to start with Big Swole versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. The tooth and nail match. The first thing I got to say is that Ricky and I booked a much better match. The other time we were talking, throwing ideas back and forth.
Yeah, you missed this one, Knives. I said if I was looking at it. Yeah, what I would have booked, this would have saved not just the match, but the whole fucking show. She's kicking her ass, right? Britt's up, she's whooping her ass, Soul, and then all of a sudden, the secretary or whatever comes in the reception, and she's like, Dr. Baker, your 315 is here. And Baker grabs Swole, drags her out into the waiting room, and leaves her sitting there, and then she goes and fucking takes care of her other patient, and fucking Swole's got to sit there reading Red Book or whatever for fucking 10 minutes, and then Baker comes back out and just resumes kicking her ass right where she left off. Like, that would have been fucking
That would
money.
be great. That would have been hilarious.
If you're going to do dumb shit, do dumb shit.
You know what?
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I will.
Well, let me read
will
this
say-
out because this one I did put details before you guys spoiled it. But yeah, it was in fact cinematic, but unfortunately, it was kind of like an afterthought. It kind of felt like let's just get this over with to start the real show. And in a certain way, I kind of understand because if you're like there like a live crowd and stuff, you don't want them staring at a screen for too long. Like, let's bring out the actual people and start. You know what I mean? So basically speaking,
I'll just raise my hand real quick and say that I'm gonna have to observe and report. I didn't see the pay-per-view, but I haven't seen anything good said about this particular segment.
okay.
I didn't honestly mind it. It wasn't horrible,
That's
but
okay.
it wasn't as bad as
people
I thought
seem
it was.
pretty unhappy with it.
Well, let me start. So it begins with Swole going into the dentist's office, and Reba is there, but Reba's like too busy on her computer to actually look up and see who it is. It's like, here, I'm here for my appointment, and she's like checking it out. Oh yeah, it's so and so, and she looks up and holy shit, it's Swole. So she actually takes out Reba and everything, and she goes into the dentist's office looking around for wherever Baker would be. And she goes to Baker's office, and there's like an empty chair with blood all over the floor. And she's like looking around for her, and Baker's hiding in some other room, all creepy and dark and whatever. So, Swole goes into this other room and hears a noise, and she opens one of the like little mirror drawer things. It's full of those little, those Joker style chattering teeth and everything. So that's distracting her. So while she's busy with that, Baker comes in and picks up one of those like, big certificate, Harvard, whatever things, and bashes her in the back of the head with it. And then like a referee's there too, and that's when the bell's officially rung. So, she tries to get her in the chair. They try to do that joke about the tooth's gonna come out, but I felt it was too rushed for like how we had it planned. And Swole hits her with one of those pans, the pan where the tools are being kept, across the face to get out. So they get out. Reba comes in and she has like a little water squirter thing. She's trying to squirt Swole with it, and I don't know why Swole is like avoiding it like it's fucking acid or some shit. Like they really over dramatized that, and she gets hit. Baker runs outside. Swole runs after her. The whole time Baker's like yelling out for Reba, where are you? Whatever. Swole clocks Reba with like the wet floor sign thing, the little yellow plastic sign thing.
I love those. I used
Yeah.
to love taking that.
Yeah. She outside they got like that weird car vehicle thing that Baker's been using recently, and it's like next to a dumpster. So when they fight there, Swole actually sits Baker back down into her wheelchair, and they're fighting there. The whole time Baker's like yelling for Reba to come, but Reba ain't coming anywhere. Swole DDTs Baker on top of like the car hood. Reba comes in, Swole throws Reba into the dumpster. Baker grabs like a crutch from, I don't know where she grabbed it from, but she comes with a crutch and she smashes Swole with it. So with that, she can, run back to the building. So she goes back into the building chasing after her. Baker does a swinging neck breaker on the office floor, which hurts Swole's arm pretty bad. And Baker's like, this is my house, this is my world, and I'm a dentist, and all that, as Swole follows her in. They just basically start like exchanging blows or elbows or whatever. Swole does a super kick on her, but Britt kicks out of the attempted pinfall. Swole gets super kicked onto the dentist chair, and Baker gets a drill, but like a real drill, like an actual legit, like a power tool drill, not a dental drill and everything. And so struggling, and when she moves like to the left, like the drill actually drills into the chair. And while Baker's trying to pull it out of the chair, of course Swole attacks her and stuff. Reba comes in with a syringe full of Novocaine, and like they struggle with it and stuff. But Baker accidentally injects her own leg with the Novocaine. So now she can't stand right. She's all wobbly. Swole punches. Swole grabs like her diploma, makes Baker hold it, and then she just like punches and smashes, right through the diploma, the broken glass and shit, right into Baker's face, clocking her out. And she gets like the sleeping mask thing, puts it on Baker, and I guess since she's asleep, that counts as a knockout, and like that's it. Like they ring the bell, and Swole wins there. I don't know. That was kind of weird. I guess it makes sense because she would be out, but I don't know. And then like Baker just wakes up wondering what the fuck's going on.
All that in 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. It was so rushed. Like it wasn't like our version of it was like so much better.
So what were the picks and who was up and who was down? Because I know who I picked. I know I lost on this one.
Yeah, actually for
I
this
lost
one,
too.
all of us lost.
I
All of us.
Too. I had Britt Baker.
Yes,
Yeah,
all
I
four
think
of
we all
us.
kind of lost.
All four of us went for Britt Baker, and we all lost. So we're all starting off at 0 points here. Johnny, any thoughts on this?
Watching it lost.
One key thing about that match, which is the only upside about that match. Well, to be fair, okay, I'm going to say this real quick about that match. It wasn't horrible. I've seen 100,000 times worse, especially with the cinematic stuff. If you don't believe me, literally just look at anything Impact 2014. You know what I'm talking about. And but I've also seen it a lot better done too. But I kind of like see it as more of like, considering the timing with, you got to also remember, Britt did have a legit ligament tear. She did have to recover. The fact that she finally came back to wrestling, that's the one huge highlight of the whole thing, is the fact that Britt Baker's back to wrestling, which is good. But the other thing is that, honestly, I think with the time that they had to come up with the match, it was okay. But I do 100% agree. It felt extremely rushed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reading all of this, and I'm hearing him describe it, and I'm seeing the time, which was, they said roughly 6:30, and it's like, wow. Like, not saying they should have gone longer, but, that is...
yeah. Because according to the thing, it said it was less than 10 minutes, like roughly from the moment she got from the car pulling up, which I don't think that technically counts at the beginning of the match, but...
Yeah, I think they called it about 6:30.
Hmm.
They said roughly. I'm looking at a couple different reports at once. I'm just going by the one that I have open at this moment at 6:30. Yeah, I'll say this. I mean, I didn't see it. I can react only to what I'm hearing, and it sounds kind of rough. The dude Kevin on 411 Mania said, in his opinion, one of the worst things I've seen all year, and hopefully once that she's healed up, they can actually do something better. Now, I agree. It was pretty clear, even just in reading about it, this whole thing was just a way to get Britt Baker back in the mix. From what I understand, they thought she'd be healed up by now, but she wasn't, so they had to finagle this as just kind of a way to work around it. And yeah, you got to do stuff like that sometimes, but at the same time, it's like, well, it was just a skit, right? They couldn't have done something different than this. Like, I don't know.
You know what would have been better? Hey, Mark, you could probably follow me on this. You know what would have been better instead of having her have a feud with Britt Baker? Have Big Swole have, like, this intimidating, like, match with Abaddon. Like, create this whole, like, creepy vibe from Abaddon, you know, that zombie chick.
Yeah.
Like, how cool would that have been, like, seeing, like, taking her to, like, in, like a dark room brawl or something, you know, something cool like that. You know what I mean? Like, kind of go like how back they were back in, like, WWF with, like, you remember when Mankind used to do the boiler room brawls?
Yeah.
Like, kind of do something like that, but instead just turn it kind of red tint, and then that's it. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Now, one thing, Johnny, you got any thoughts on this crazy madness with the pre-recorded match thing?
Okay, so the match felt like it was all over the place, and it felt kind of like what everybody else said. It's kind of like a rush job, and I don't know. It just doesn't really feel like my cup of tea when it comes to a match. I felt more like this is more like for presentation-wise, like, okay, now we're gonna start the pay-per-view, you know, kind of thing. But like to actually, I don't know. It doesn't felt like an actual legit match.
Yeah, it sounds like filler to me. I don't know.
All right, guys, and out of nowhere, a wild Jupi-chan appears.
Hi everyone. Sorry I've been missing in action here.
I feel like we all could have probably used a little Novocaine before that thing fucking happened.
I think I got a contact high watching that match.
That reminds me.
Like I said, Ricky and I booked a much better.
Britt Baker lost by Big Swole putting knockout gas on Britt Baker in her dental chair, and she literally passed out at the end.
You know.
Wait, hold up. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I should get something for that. I at least called the Hold Still While I Gas You spot.
That's true.
Get something for that.
I have a question about the match setup. What was the rules and stipulations of the match? I mean, was it like no disqualification, everything could go?
It was basically a hardcore match in her office. Swole was the one, weirdly enough, Big Swole was the one who picked the match. She said, it's going to be a tooth and nail match. And everyone's like, what does that mean? And we're like, oh.
Okay, guys. So now we can move on to the next match, the actual match with Rikki Roxx's favorite boys. We got the Young Bucks here going up against Jurassic Express. Well, I don't know. Cornette told me the other day they're your boys. So who am I to argue with him? So anyways, we're having fun with this podcast. The more the merrier. Anyways, the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express. Let me try to breeze through the notes real quick. Okay, the things I noticed the most here and there, besides just saying it's a spot fest and there's lots of flippy shit, I do notice Jungle Boy and Matt started. Yeah,
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Shit in a dumb fucks match? You kidding me?
Okay, so Jungle Boy and Matt they started off. Jungle Boy tries to be a good guy, then do like the whole, extend your hand out, but Nick like slaps it away. So, they're like, okay, so it's gonna be like that now. Yeah, we'll just say a lot of flippy shit happened.
Let's just say, hang on, I could culminate the whole match. It was like being a rich kid at a harbor party. Nothing but showboats.
Oh, God. Okay, so anyways, near the end, what's his name? Luchasaurus, which for whatever reason I put him as Dino. Luchasaurus is tagged in near the end. He power slams both of the Bucks. Jungle Boy does a hurricane on one of them. The Young Bucks kick out of so Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus did a power slam on one of them, but he still kicked out anyways. Luchasaurus, this is the part I didn't quite understand, if you guys can tell me or remember, but like Luchasaurus dives down to the crowd, and I don't know why it didn't look like the Young Bucks were even there. He just randomly dove into the crowd, which luckily the crowd was like AEW staff people. It wasn't like the legit crowd. For a moment I thought it was, until the commentary said it's, you know, AEW people. But so since Luchasaurus dove out into the crowd, I know not why. The Bucks unfortunately run a super kick party on Jungle Boy, and despite Jungle Boy like kicking out of pins, I thought he was gonna win because he kept kicking out of all that shit. In the end, the Young Bucks hit him with the BTE trigger. Jungle Boy is down for the count, and the Young Bucks win, and there you go. But I was surprised.
I think I can explain why I think Luchasaurus did the dive spot, and then the Young Bucks had already gone to the other side of the ring when the time he dove. But the camera didn't pick that part up. I think that's what happened. Like, the camera just focused on Luchasaurus and didn't show, like the camera wasn't from the ring side. The camera was from, like, the opposite side of the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I could have sworn they showed a replay of it, and I still didn't see the Young Bucks. It just looked like he just fucking dove out into the crowd, like, just because. I'm like, the fuck? What happened there?
Yeah. Well, they were there, but I think they just kind of ran to the side, and the camera didn't pick up any of that.
So before I give out the score, can you guys give out your thoughts? Any thoughts there, Johnny?
I don't know. At this stage, it looks like the very typical Young Buck type with a lot of flippy shit going on. I still thought it was a good match. Kind of disappointed that I kind of changed my prediction, because the first time I predicted that it would have been the Young Bucks winning the match, and then the second time when we re-recorded the podcast for the second time, due to technical difficulties, I voted for the Jurassic Express, and it's kind of disappointed that they didn't win, actually. Because I thought, especially
they don't got their
Jungle
name
Boy,
on the door.
He actually did a good job in this match. So kind of disappointed that he lost.
I think that they're not. I really wanted. I think everyone watching it wanted Jungle Boy to win. I mean, it literally made no sense that he didn't. This will come back again later when we talk about it. One of my biggest issues that they've been doing recently is that they haven't been focusing on long-term storytelling. And, like, it would have made perfect sense that Jurassic Express won, especially with Jungle Boy winning. It would have made Jungle Boy look strong, and it would have brought into that whole vibe that, if you remember 2 weeks ago, Tully Blanchard, he called out the Young Bucks. Because literally they had the Rock and Roll Express and Arn and Tully try to come out and basically almost suck off the Young Bucks and say, "Oh my God, you're the greatest. You're amazing. You fart gold. You jizz rainbows," whatever the fuck they tell them. And then, but Tully called them out on their shit. Tully flat out said, "You can keep saying all you want that you are the best, that you are the best, that you are the best. But I look at both of you, I don't see gold. I look at FTR, I don't see gold. How are you going to say you're the best when you ain't got the gold? That's what matters." And that's what I said. I literally said that would have made more sense, because it would have lit a fire under them. And then it would have made more sense if Jurassic Express had won, because then they could have been like, "Are we the best?" You know what I mean? Like, have them second guessing themselves and then turn heel. Because it seems like they're turning heel. I mean, they beat the crap out of Marco Stunt, which normally I'm like, hey, that's... But one thing I did get irritated about in the match, why was it that when the Young Bucks were acting heelish, the commentators were making excuses for them? Did you notice that? Like, they were like, "Well, I mean, I'm not a fan of Marco Stunt either." Like, if Lance Archer did that shit, or if FTR did that shit, they go, "Oh, that's uncalled for. That's not right. Friggin', what's his name? Shivani said that, and JR said that. I'm like, dude, come on.
Well, those guys don't have a door with their name on it.
But like I said, I did think they did. I will say, Jungle Boy did look really strong in that match. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that. A lot of people called him the breakout star of this match.
Mm-hmm. He clearly, like me and Ricky talked about it before, you see him as he's a future, like, big guy. I see him a future big guy in the company.
Yeah, if they don't pull the trigger on him pretty soon, I mean, I have to think they're going to. This would have been a good opportunity, because you got to figure it's like a big event, right? That's part of why I figured they would go over.
Now, hold on there. That first of all, Jungle Boy, he looks more like he belongs on 205 Live. He's not 6 foot. He's not jacked, looking like he's on roids. That is not good shit. That's not what's best for business.
Well, I mean, there was one grown man in this match versus a bunch of little kids bouncing around. Let's just be honest in that. But if you're going to go that route, I mean, this is why I would have pulled the trigger on Jurassic Express and had Jungle Boy go over. The Bucks, they've been doing this for a while now. I mean, we're almost 15 years of the Bucks now, hard as it is to believe. So
I mean, hell, they have a biography coming out called Killing the Business. They know what they're doing.
Wait, for real? Really?
Yeah,
their bio book is called Killing the Business. They know what they're doing.
Gee.
I mean, I don't know. I think it was good to make Jungle Boy look strong in the match. I think the wrong team went over, but, watch the way wrestling works. Like, they'll throw him a bone on Dynamite or something, so they'll say, well, he got it back at least. But we all know the deal, right? If it didn't happen at a pay-per-view style show, then it might as well not have happened. I mean, we see WWE pull the same shit a million times. And it pisses me off when WWE will do something similar. Like, they'll have the wrong guy go over, and then you'll see people online, whether it's marks or even I see some people in the business try to defend it. They're like, you just don't know what kind of angle they're going to run. They're building something here. And then it never builds to anything. It's bullshit.
Yeah, because they're scared. They're worried.
Yeah, they're like, well, watch, Hunter going over Sting at WrestleMania. That's just to build for something. No, it's not. It's
Hunter's
piss
Hunter.
on the fucking guy. Yeah, this is the same kind of shit. They'll probably throw, Jungle Boy and them a bone on an upcoming show, and they'll say, look, at least he got it back. It's like, yeah, but not when it fucking mattered. We all know how this shit works.
I have a question, though.
Sure.
Sorry.
No. I was like, oh, sure. Sorry.
Oh, so my question is, like the Young Bucks, like you mentioned, the Young Bucks are already like super over no matter where they go or where they are. I'm just saying,
Ain't over with me, brother.
So my question is, how do you think they will book Jungle? Since they won, how do you think they will book? Who are they going up against again?
Jurassic Express.
The Jurassic. Oh, that's right. How do you think they will book them after this? I mean, I know you said they probably want to try to do something with them, maybe. Like, what predictions do you have for them?
I see them as eventually it clearly, obviously seems like they're going to book it that the Young Bucks are going to challenge for the title somewhere down the line soon. And then eventually probably will fight Jurassic Express, and then the Jurassic Express will lose again, and then they'll lose again, and then they'll lose again, and then Luchasaurus will probably turn heel.
Well, here's something we didn't really consider. Would have been good to talk about on the pre-show that we did the other day. This is an important match because going into this, both Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks, their record for this year was 6-3. So this was a tiebreaker. Yeah, they were each 6 wins and 3 losses, and this puts the Young Bucks ahead by 1. So they are technically the number 1 contenders because they got the best record.
Oh, I called it, didn't I?
Well, their name's on the door. They got little nameplates and everything.
Okay. So anyways, guys, so this one, I was the only one that voted for the Young Bucks. I thought they were going to do the whole Super Cena thing, which they unfortunately did. So Knives, Rikki Roxx, and Johnny all voted for Jurassic Express. So I'm the only one with 1 point, and so far everyone else got 0 points. So we're gonna move on now. I think everyone already said all the stuff they're gonna say about the Young Bucks. We can't spend 2 hours dissing them. And as much as Cornette would enjoy that, but this podcast is all right. Want to hear us talking bad about the Young Bucks for 2 hours?
Oh, I'll tell you what, this is pretty good. I'm gonna go get me some 7-Up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Cornette doesn't like pretty much anything AEW.
Hey, Jupi, don't talk. Jupi, don't talk. You know how he feels about women. He doesn't like hearing them talk.
No.
Darn it.
Nick and Matt spent 15 minutes Jackson off in that match, so I think we all can get a little bit of a word in on it. Jackson off. See what I did there?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, then we get the Casino Battle Royale, and we start off with the clubs. Oh, my God. It took me a while to get everyone organized. But the clubs were Trent from Best Friends, Christopher Daniels from SCU, Jake Hager, The Blade from Butcher and Blade, and Ray Phoenix. So they started off, and yeah, I didn't get too many notes on that. It's not too much of a big thing. I did notice, though, that Hager and Blade went versus Daniels, and Phoenix was mostly focused on Trent. Then, to explain you guys, for people that don't know, Casino Battle Royale, you get I guess groups of 5. I thought it was 4, but groups of 5 people based on the cards and a random Joker card. And every 3 minutes, the next set of people come in. So 3 minutes after we already got these guys in the ring, the Diamonds come in, which are Frankie Kazarian also from SCU. We got Will Hobbs. He was pretty impressive, I gotta say. We got Chuck Taylor from Best Friends. We got Santana and Ortiz at the same time. Pride and Powerful coming in. And also, I'm not going to keep track of who eliminated who. It got crazy after a while. But I did notice that it looks like Hobbs was the one that threw Blade out. So Blade was one of the first people that was eliminated and everything. I noticed that Pride and Powerful kind of took a while before they finally got... Oh, yeah, because Pride and Powerful apparently had some beef with the Best Friends. So before they got into the ring, proper, they were beating the crap out of Trent outside and everything. And then they took their time. Then they finally got into the ring and everything. So then the Hearts come in, which is Billy Gunn. We got Pentagon Jr., but they kept calling him Pentagon Settle for some reason. Or Pentagon Settle. I don't know. Brian Cage. What now?
Well, I said they changed his name because I guess they were going to call him Penta Zero L, or his original one, Cero M, what they were calling him. But then I guess AAA Wrestling had a trademark on it because he works for both. Yeah. So then they just changed it to something else.
Okay, so yeah, they call him Pentaceto here. Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and Darby Allin. So I noticed that Billy Gunn immediately gets into Hager's space and they're all fighting out and stuff. Cage throws out Gunn right away. Phoenix gets eliminated, but it's pretty, quick. Can't tell who did it. Somehow the Best Friends find the time to hug each other among all the madness. Gotta give the audience what they want. And I noticed that since they're all in their circle, someone was, Chuck Taylor got thrown out by Santana. Someone else was trying to throw him out. So Hager comes in and helps his buddy out so they could both start being up on Kazarian. So the Spades come in now. We got Sean Spears, we got The Butcher, Eddie Kingston, Sonny Kiss, and Lance Archer. And Sean Spears actually wasted time purposely just jibber-jabbering with the commentary people and stuff. Just whatever, just killing time and everything. And I'm surprised how quick Sonny Kiss got flipped out. I was kind of surprised. Now, Sonny Kiss did throw Hager out. So I was fucking surprised by that. Holy shit, he flipped Jake Hager out of the ring and everything. And
big deal.
Cage actually catches Sonny. Sonny was gonna do a kick or something, but Cage grabs the leg, picks him up, and just threw him out of the ring. And now he's outside the ring, Jake Hager beats the crap out of him because he's very pissed that he cost him his spot and everything. Oh, he tosses out Trent. And he beats the crap out of Ortiz. Ortiz was hanging on the ropes. He's like, nope, just kicks him out too. The Joker card is Matt Seidel, which you guys have to tell me, where's this guy from? Is he from Impact or something? Or
Evan Bourne. You remember Evan Bourne?
No.
Yeah, man, come on.
That's Evan Bourne. Remember the guy who did the shooting star the famous one that he did the shooting star the shooting star press, and then Randy caught him midair and catches him.
Oh,
he was like on Raw for like decades.
Oh yeah, okay.
He had like a buzz cut hair.
Okay.
I feel like I feel like at this point though he's been more, he's been Matt Sydal longer than he was Evan Bourne.
Yeah, I know, but that's like the most famous thing that people would just off cuff know him from.
Yeah, this is true.
Well, keep in mind that was a big era where I was like not into WWE, so I must have. There's been a big gap when I jumped from WWE to WCW and all that. So I don't know. So, anyways, my wrestling history is a bit weird. I'll tell you later when there's more time. But Jake the Snake is leaving like a suspicious black bag there near the edge of the ring. Pentaceto gets eliminated. Kazarian gets tossed out. Cage hits Sydal with, I think that's the drill claw he does. He does like a weird spinning whatever. And I've noticed that they've never actually named it whenever he does it, but I think that's the drill claw. I love that he actually does the Wolverine claws out pose after that. That's fucking badass. He starts taking down Lance Archer and Will Hubbs and the Butcher. He's like slamming all them big, and that's badass. He's like literally picking up and power slamming the biggest, heaviest guys in the ring one after the other, So Darby tosses Ricky Starks out. Starks drags Darby out to attack him and throws him into the ring post. Cage opens up. Well, Starks brings in, I guess that was meant to be Darby Allin's body bag, and Cage grabs it, and Cage opens the bag, and it's got thumbtacks. That was kind of weird, though. It kind of became a hardcore match midway. So he just tosses the thumbtacks wherever they may be. Some of them are inside the bag. He puts Darby in the body bag with thumbtacks in there too. Zips it all the way up, and just Ultimate Warrior Gorilla throws him out of the ring into the outside, whatever you call it, the outside stage or whatever.
Steps.
Yeah, thank you. Steps and everything. Hobbs does a spine buster on Sydal right onto the thumbtacks. Lance Archer gets into space. Lance tackles him right into the thumbtacks. Lance and Cage go at it, trading shots and stuff, and like the punches don't face either or, so they both look badass. It's like they're both taking punches, kind of shrugging each other's things off, Lance tries to do a choke slam, and Brian Cage actually fucking flips out of it, which is impressive for a dude that jacked, Okay, so the last four people in the ring are Kingston, the Butcher, I'm surprised it lasted that long, Lance, and Sydal. So Lance Archer shoves Butcher off as he's wrestling Sydal. Lance Archer hits Sydal with the blackout. Kingston kicks the belt out of the ring. Jake shows Kingston his snake. Not that way. I mean the snake in the bag. I know, but that's why I remember I'm writing this as it's happening. So I just put down Jake showed him his snake. So
I got something to show.
Okay.
Take a look at this, man.
Oh God. Believe me, Brandy Rhodes was crazy about it. So anyways, well, I mean, technically speaking, we can't say, and it's politically correct, that Jake let his snake wander all over Brandy. So, anyways. Oh my God, we're so fucked up. And I do apologize, Jupi, if we're disrespecting women and ladies and all that good stuff.
No, that's hilarious. It's funny.
Okay, so Blade returns to try to help Kingston. Don't know why. Kingston bites into Lance's ear, and in the end, Lance just grabs and throws Kingston out of the ring, and bam. Okay, so now Lance Archer is your winner. And before we go into who said what and who voted for whatever, what are your thoughts? Let's start off with Johnny real quick.
Okay, so obviously this is a match that's gonna be very hard to remember everything that happened. It's like a lot of stuff happening all at once. But I do have to say that it is pretty impressive that Brian Cage was able to lose the match. That's all I have to say about it.
It definitely sounded like there was a lot going on for a battle royal. It sounded like it was over 20 minutes, almost 22 minutes from the look of it, which is a lot for. But with this kind of match, it makes sense. I was a little surprised. Well, I wasn't surprised that our boy Hoyt got the Duke on that one. When I found out Daniels was in it, I was selfishly pulling for him, but that's not really that realistic at this point. But Yeah, people sound pretty happy with this one. Sounds like it was pretty exciting and unpredictable.
I think the three most noteworthy things to happen in the match as a whole. The first was probably the drill claw that Brian Cage pulled off. Or no, I'm sorry, it was the Sonny Kiss elimination. That was like huge. Like no one was like, what? The second one was that crazy, stupid spot that Darby did with the body bag. Like that was crazy. Like that wasn't just crazy, that was just stupid. Like he was in the body bag, man. I'm like, oh. I'm like, why did you bring that to the ring in the first place? But I get it. And then the third, the most notable thing that everyone keeps making fun of is the fact that when Matt Sydal top rope gets in the ring, he eats nothing but pure shit and hits his face first into the mat.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty rough. I heard people...
Everyone was like, ooh. I'm like, oh, he just shock mastered. Ooh, God. Oh.
Shock master.
I'm not trying to be a dick about it, and I know it's a mistake. I'm not running the guy down, but it's really hard when it's your debut. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to come back from that.
When you go full Kidman on your debut, that's pretty raw.
Exactly. I mean, granted, he did make up for it in the match. It's just more of a matter of, like, it kind of worried me. It just worried me, and it was all.
And it set a trend for the rest of the night, apparently, which we'll get to all that.
But everybody should pick up their phones, because I called it.
Yeah.
I called Lance Archer winning.
Your boy Hoyt.
Yep.
Yep, and that's exactly what I was gonna say. For the score, everyone went for Darby Allin. Again, we got to keep track that this is very difficult because with so many people, who knew who was gonna win? And of course, the Joker card could have been any random newbie that comes in and wins or whatever. But yeah, Jack Knives did say that Lance Archer is going to win. He's the only one that guessed Lance Archer, so he wins. So far, me and Knives are tied 1-1, and let's see what happens here.
See, now I would have thought bringing Sydal in, like obviously we didn't know he was in it, but you know, when I read before I got to the bottom of the thing, he showed up. I guess he probably. Oh no, he didn't. It just feels weird, like whenever you bring somebody in and then they're just there.
Well, this was you know.
I don't know.
What's interesting? This is, I think the fourth. Is this the fourth battle royal they've done, or fifth?
Maybe the fourth, I think.
The thing is, it's a matter of I've noticed it's a trend where they're you know, it's kind of funny. Every time they've done a battle royal or like a mystery person, almost. It's usually when it's a new person, it's very rare that they'll actually win. I think that it's only happened with Brian Cage, like with the ladder match. But like the battle royals, it's always someone who's there, you know, in the company that's won it. So I've noticed that lately, looking back at like all the other matches with the buy-ins and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's just weird to me from like. You know, it harkens back to, and again, I'm old school, and, you know, I spent a lot of time watching Raven shoots because he's a genius. And on one of them, he talked about, somebody asked him, why is it that when you're on the indies, especially if you were just on TV, like when you show up in a small town and you're the main event guy against their local guy, even if your character's been a heel on TV, you're usually the baby face at the indie show. Why is that? And Raven's like, well, because you're the guy everybody's paying to see. So if they're paying to see you, they obviously like you at least a little bit. So, you know, it's like it happens in its own kind of alternate reality in a sense. Where, well, yeah, we know like a month ago you were a bad guy, but for tonight you're a good guy because you drew the house. But at the same time, he kind of goes on in this thing where if in any context you're bringing in like a name guy, it only makes sense to showcase that main guy. Now, obviously, not everybody remembers that he was Evan Bourne, but more people, I guess, would. And it's one of those things where if I were booking it and I was bringing in this WWE guy to be in my Battle Royal, I'd probably have that guy go over. But again, there's different philosophies for this kind of thing. Hoyt has been there. I can't help it. I knew him as Hoyt for 10 years already before. And plus he changed his name so many times anyway. But Archer, he's been in the mix doing good. He does have Jake, and he's got an angle. So that makes him a good pick to win it too.
Right.
So that's it's not a bad pick. It sounds like it was a pretty good Battle Royal. I was a little surprised, but not altogether, because I forgot when I was doing my prediction that he did have Jake with him, and they've been running that angle. So it's not like they just gave it to a rando.
And also, my whole booking was, the whole reason I thought Lance Archer was because I thought of it twofold. One, who is a guy that they've actually booked to be strong and literally just goes at it strong? And the other reasoning was, I thought, who would be a good main eventer? Like, who would you pay? I always say, when I say main eventer, I don't mean anyone can't be a main eventer. When I say main eventer, it's the person, when you see the bill, they're the headliner, and you go, now I want to go see it. That's a main eventer. That's a main eventer when I see it. And Lance Archer is a main eventer. And the good thing is it's good that he took that sabbatical in New Japan, and he was in, Suzuki-gun and all that stuff, because that elevated his game. Because up until that point, he was mostly a tag team wrestler for a long while, or he was an enforcer, or he was a bodyguard, or he was something. He was never a single star. Then he went to Japan. They said, okay, well, let's give him a shot. Let's see what he can do. And he really stepped up his game. He was still a little squeaky behind the ears. And since he's come to AEW, they're using him as a main event talent. They're using him as a single star. And I like what they're doing with him, and the fact that he's only technically lost one match, and the only reason he lost that match against Cody, if you remember, was because Arn Anderson interfered. Remember, Arn Anderson interfered in the match when he was on the top rope, and Mike Tyson got up and he was about to beat Arn Anderson's ass, and that was the only reason he won. So my point of it is literally, I thought, who would, because like I said, who would be a guy who would be a legit threat to the champion? And I thought, there's no one else. He's already fought. He's already beaten Cage. Who else is there left that's a threat, Yeah,
it's like how I said when I read that Daniels was in it sentimentally. If I could have picked one guy and it didn't matter, like if it was just who would I pick of that whole crop, I'd have picked Daniels if I were booking it. But because he's my boy, I love Chris Daniels. But realistically, would that make any sense given the way he's been put up? No, not really. So like you said, the story of it really fits in, and those were things I wasn't kind of thinking too much about when I made my prediction. But, they got a chance to do an interesting story here. They can really make history. If he goes all the way with this title shot, he could be the first world champion in history to have a tramp stamp.
God damn it. I didn't even think about
him and Batista could get into a thing about who has more embarrassing tattoos on a dude. Is it Hoyt's tramp stamp, or is it that stupid thing that Batista's got around his belly button? Like, what tattoo looks stupider if you're a dude? And then they could have a whole...
I think he looked worse that point in his career when he was going bald and he had the short hair, and then he had the soul patch and he had the tattoo on his belly button. I'm like, dude, are you just trying to fend off the women that are throwing themselves at you? Come on.
What about Cody's neck tattoo?
Oh, Cody and the neck tattoo. Those guys all need to get together and have a who's got the worst tattoos battle royal.
I love how everyone literally, even Mark, said to me, is that real? Everyone asked if it was real. Like, everyone thought it was like a patch on, because it looks like a patch on. It literally looks like those tattoos you get at the freaking... You get it when you go to the gas station.
Jack in the Box
I'm
or
going to get
something.
Slurpee and a 50-cent
or
tattoo.
The Cracker Jack box or whatever.
Yeah, it looks like one, and then you see it and you're like, oh Oh God, he actually paid for that? Oh God, why would you get it on your neck?
Like, not even Brandy likes it, I think. Not even Brandy likes it. Like,
Brandy hates it. Literally, I even said, why in your neck? Literally, you have tons of space on your shoulder, your arm, your forearm, anywhere. Why your neck? Of all the places.
The old joke people used to say, who gets drunk and cuts your hair? It's like, who got drunk and gave you that fucking tattoo? But like, who told you that was a good decision?
My first thought was,
Jesus.
My first thought when I saw it was like, was that a bet that he lost? Did he lose a bet? Because that's what it felt.
I was about to say, I was gonna say the same thing. And hey, I've got a fucking, I've got the Speed Racer Mach 5 gimmick on my arm, so I know a thing or two about questionable tattoos myself. So, but I'll put that up against his.
Rocks.
Sure does. But I mean, I'll fucking, I know bad when I see it. Like I said, they could all get together. They could have a bad tattoos battle royal. That might be fun.
Let's get back to the. Let's get back to the show.
yeah. I know, but it is fun, guys. That's what makes it special with all you guys here. So, okay, so the next one we have is a big one here. We got Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara, a broken rules match. And apparently, if Matt Hardy loses, he has to leave AEW for good. So,
you mind if I take this one?
Are you gonna describe the whole thing? Because I got notes.
Well, there's not really much to describe, but yeah, I could take over if it's okay with you. But if not, you could go ahead.
Well, do you want me to describe the stuff that happened before the big moment?
Yeah, just describe everything before the moment, and
I'll let you take over. We'll do like a half and half. Okay, so basically we start off with Matt Hardy out in the football field, reminiscent of the last time he did that cinematic thing, and he's calling out for Guevara, like, where is he? So now we got a little bit of sweet payback. This time Guevara is in the golf cart, and he's starting it up, and he actually chases Hardy, but he crashes into like some boxes or some junk, so that was kind of short-lived. So Hardy grabs him out of the golf cart, starts throwing him around like the garbage cans and shit. One thing I did take note is that, oh my god, those fucking tables are hard, man. You know those tables that are outside of restaurants that are like those big circular tables with the built-in like bench type seats with all the little holes in them? He like fucking picked up Guevara and DDT'd him on that table, and I winced when I saw that, So they start fighting on a scissor lift, and the scissor lift actually starts lifting, and here we get this is probably the part then, isn't it? Yeah, I'll leave that part to you. And this is like holy shamoli, holy stromboli.
I'll take over from here. So they get into this cherry picker, and underneath them is the merchandise stand. They're roughly 8 feet in the air. That's literally what they said. They estimated about 8 feet in the air. They had it set up where Matt was going to do a side effect to Sammy Guevara, but Sammy reversed it, backed up a little. He hit, tackled, or he speared, kind of a spear, Matt Hardy off the cherry picker onto the table. But when Matt landed, he did not land on the table. He landed body first on the lower back, landed on the table, the back of his head from the 8 feet straight down onto the concrete, the back of the head. And when it hit, it literally just made a straight thud. Aubrey Edwards runs straight up to him, runs up to him, looks at him, holds up the X, the dreaded wrestling X that everyone may not know what that is. But when a referee holds up their arms in an X, that means something's wrong. Get the docs. Something went horribly wrong. When they did that, they had gotten the docs. Sammy tried grabbing him, and Aubrey literally pushed him away, like dead serious, like no, back away. The doc checked him out. Matt was trying to say, "I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm fine." And then he tries doing. They're trying to help each other look like it's an actual match. Sammy grabs Matt, and I'll let Mark take over from here.
I want to say Jupes is busy with stuff, but she can still hear us, I think. And even she was like, ow, when she heard you describe what was going on.
But literally what was happening was Sammy was trying to help, like they were trying, doing the grapple, the traditional wrestling grapple.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the traditional wrestling grapple, and Matt was suffering from severe spaghetti legs. He literally could not stand. He kept stumbling. He kept stumbling and stumbling. He couldn't get back up. And then that's when they rang the bell and went ding, ding, ding. And then it cut to the announcer's table. And then Mark can take it over from that point.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot that part. But yeah, the announcers were making it like the match ended. So I also took it as like, oh shit, like this is it. It's over. And they were saying stuff like, yeah, we understand that the show goes on, but we got to remember that, we got to keep in mind, we still got a wife and kids. We care about the performers and their futures and blah, 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 blah. But I guess Matt, for some unknown reasons, I guess that sweet AEW money, I don't know, or promise of his name on the door with the Young Bucks or something made him get back up and insist on continuing the fight. And even though the fight was over, and they kept escorting Sammy away, he kept chasing after him and whatever. I don't know how that went behind the scenes, that they kind of gave the okay to continue, but they continued. They rang the bell again, and they both started throwing fists at each other or elbows and stuff. They made it near the stage area. They both started climbing the scaffolding. The commentary mentioned it was 15 feet up in the air, and Matt basically punches Sammy. He falls back into that weird stage floor that always kind of bends like cardboard and stuff. And Sammy just lays there for the full 10 count, ends the match. Matt Hardy wins. I'm assuming that Sammy was okay, but he was just, staying down for the sake of ending the match already, but still giving the audience a hell of a finish, to talk about. But just damn,
I just want to say something really quick because I have to run again. But I'm just listening to this, trying my best to hear this and what else I'm doing. All I can say is, wow, ouch. I hope everyone is okay. I mean, that sounds like it would have been awesome to see, but at the same time, just cringe at seeing it.
It was, having seen it live, it legitimately, I literally jumped up in fear that he just died. I literally have seen people fall and literally been like paralyzed or like from that kind of thing. So yeah. My immediate fear was that this is a career ender. Like, that's it. Like, this is over. I honestly thought he died, legitimately. And I know that sounds kind of fear, but I actually believe I know why they kept the match started. Because since this whole thing has happened, everyone's pointing the finger at who dared keep it going. Who dared, how dare, whatever. Of course they're going to blame Tony Khan. It's his show. I get it. They're going to blame the doc. I get it. Ultimately, and I really, really believe this, I really think that in the time when they cut away from, showing the commentators, Matt and Sammy talked, or Sammy went up to Matt and said, hey, man, I know Matt. Matt was literally trying to get back up on his feet. He was trying everything he could to get the match to go, and he knew he couldn't. And Sammy said, if you just give me a little bit of time, we'll have an ending to the match. Because the worst thing you can do, one of the worst things you could do as a wrestler is have a non-finish. That is one of the worst things that you can do for a wrestler to do to the audience, to literally not give them an ending. So it's like, I think they did that because Matt was like, okay, and Sammy, I think honestly Sammy took the bullet for the whole match. I think Sammy was like, okay, well, it won't be a great finish, but it'll be a finish. And that's what I think happened. I really think that's what happened.
I would agree with it, with what you said. I don't agree with what happened. But
I don't either, at
all. Because I watched that part. I didn't see the entirety. Again, I've read about it. Everything I've read, again, says A to Z. Not just the fall. Is obviously the fall was horrific, but they were like A to Z. This whole segment was one of the worst things put on. Again, I didn't see the whole segment. I only saw the big moment. But it sounded pretty like, ugh. And then you get to that, and I watched that, and like you said, it looked like the dude could have been killed. His fucking back of his head slapped on the concrete like fucking wet meat hitting the floor. And immediately it's like, and I've had obviously this was yesterday, so by the time I see it today, I know the guy's alive and walking around.
Right. But at the moment, you don't know.
My reaction to watching it based on that was like, you fucking jabronis, what are you doing? Like, the second I see them, they're fighting on the scaffolding. Like, this goes right back to me. You never know full cornet. But goddamn, why the fuck are these two fucking idiots fighting on a motherfucking cherry picker? Jesus Christ.
I agree.
And I can't help it.
I agree.
Like,
and Matt
the one guy gets up,
Matt is in his
the guy gets up on the cherry picker. Why would you follow him?
Exactly.
I think so. But, I mean, he's also, like you said, he's got a wife and kids. And they did a scaffold spot, which is fucking retarded at that point, because the guy, we'll get back to what's been said over the last 24 hours about it, but I mean, he clearly wasn't in his right mind, no matter what anybody says.
But I think, at the end of the day, I really think at the end of this match, the one thing, and it's not a huge silver lining, but I really think, looking at everything that happened, from the beginning to the end of that match, I honestly feel that after everything that's said and done, everyone in the back locker room, everyone watching that knows what they just saw, has nothing but respect for Sammy. Because they knew he had no choice. But he basically was like, look, I'm a rookie here. I got to do everything I can to give them an ending. I think that's all he was doing, was just going, I need to give them an ending. You know?
I agree to a point with all that, but I think everything was wrong. I just think the whole thing was wrong. I think getting up on the cherry picker was wrong. I think everything that happened after that was wrong. I mean, fundamentally, just as a human being. Again, this is the kind of shit where they couldn't pay me enough to do it. And I think you're right. I think you're right in that it was probably in the moment Matt's call, like, no, I want to keep going, I want to keep going. No matter how good it made Sammy look finishing that match with them, no matter how now you can't kill Matt Hardy, all of that shit. And obviously, I think it was probably Matt insisting on going on. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, Tony Khan, as a human being and as a business owner, had a responsibility to step in and say, you know what? I don't care what you say, because you just took 8 feet down on the back of your head, and now you're talking about going up on a fucking scaffold? Dude, if you Owen Hart yourself, it's my fucking ass. So no, this match is over. Get your ass to the fucking hospital, and we'll eat the fucking bullshit chance or whatever for having no finish. Because you know what's worse than having no finish? A guy falling off a fucking scaffold and getting killed. So fuck the finish, fuck the fans, fuck all of that shit. It should have been, they never should have gone up on a cherry picker, but that shit should have been stopped. And now the guy's doing fucking damage control, because I don't give a shit what he says. The dude had a fucking concussion, you know, because you can't, they said he was knocked out. You physically cannot be knocked unconscious and not also accumulate a concussion. That's not how concussions work. If he was knocked out and not conscious for whether it was a minute or 30 seconds, doesn't matter, then he had a concussion. And then he went up there on that fucking scaffold with concussion. And if he just weaved a little bit to the right or a little to the left, it would have been a fucking tragedy. I mean, forget Owen Hart. We've even seen fucking New Jack has brain damage and can't see out of his fucking eye because of that shit.
When I was looking at the match, what I was reminded of, rewatching the whole, because I did rewatch it, rewatching the whole match from beginning to end, I was reminded of that the match with Owen Hart and Stone Cold where Owen accidentally broke his neck.
Yeah.
And he did the pile driver. And the difference is this match, I agree 100%. I do think they should have stopped the match completely. They did stop the match. It's not even they could have. They did. And the trouble is, I think, and I hate assuming this, but I think that when Matt Hardy signed with AEW, and I really hope I'm wrong, that he did not give him a creative control contract. Because if that was the case, that would explain everything. Because that would explain that Tony, like, he's like, well, I'm going to do it because I have creative control. You know, like kind of like one of those WCW contracts they used to have. Because remember, them signing Matt Hardy was a big deal. So I think that might have been what happened, and he pulled the whole creative control thing, and they basically said, okay, well, he said it. And I think that's what happened. I'm not saying Tony Khan's not to blame. He is. Because they had an out for the match.
I think he made a bad decision. I'm not, like, ultimately furious at the guy. I'm furious that he's trying to, like, do damage control with it now and be like, oh, no, Matt's fine. Bullshit.
I blame...
8 feet on his head.
The person I blame for that entire match was Matt. It was every bit his fault.
And I love Matt, but you're right.
He could have killed Sammy. He literally could have died.
Yeah, I mean, there was no reason, you know, for any of it. When you start talking about getting up on the fucking cherry picker, I think somebody, a grown-up, needs to intervene on your conversation at this point and be like, wait a second. Just hold on for a second. What's the up versus the down on this? You know, because it wasn't even, he almost pulled it off. He almost landed on the table, but almost only counts in fucking horseshoes and hand grenades. Truth is, he took an 8-foot drop on the back of his melon, and he's got kids at home. I mean, I'm sure Rikki fucking probably reamed him for it.
And let's not forget, 2 weeks ago, he also took a direct chair shot thrown at his face.
Yeah.
And busted him open hard way.
What I feel with Matt right now in this moment, and again, this is all speculative, it kind of feels like, we all know he's been around for a long time, so this might be his last big run, right? I think he came into this whole situation pretty much willing to do anything to fucking cement his legacy, and that shit's just kind of getting out of hand. Like, I'll take the chair shots to the face and take 25 stitches or whatever, and I'll take the big drop off the fucking cherry picker, because, like, he knows, I think, and
he's going full Terry Funk.
Well, I mean, it's like, in the back of my mind, if I'm putting myself in his place, and I know I'm a better wrestler than my brother, but my brother is the guy everybody talks about, and my brother is the guy everybody's going to remember, and I've only got, like, 2 years to cement my legacy, and my legacy is not going to be just the other guy's brother. I'm going to be remembered for me. I might do stupid things because I'm kind of desperate for that kind of, not redemption, I guess, but recognition. I always thought he was the better Hardy, and I've always said so, but, you know, the point of fact
I
is
agree.
Everybody talks about his idiot brother instead of him, and it's not fair. It's not right. It goes to show what bad priorities wrestling fans have, because they would cheer that fucking idiot over Matt. But that's, you know, that's my opinion. And, you know, I got other reasons to go into that. But so I kind of can see where his mindset might be in this moment. Like, he's doing everything on fast forward because he's on borrowed time and he knows it. But because of that, like you said, this is like not even a month and he got hurt bad twice. And now I'm worried about this guy legit, because you don't know. What's he going to do next time? And it's just, I hope they pull this shit back, because I don't care what they said. He has a concussion. Rikki swears he does. She'd know better than me. She's pissed at them for letting the match go on. I promise you, she reamed Matt too, though. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't there, but I can promise you, just knowing a little bit of how she is, she doesn't want to see him get hurt. But she's probably like, "Ay, puto, estúpido," or I don't know. Those are like, I don't speak a lot of Spanish, but she's a firecracker. So I'm pretty sure she probably gave him some ultimatums too. Once, like, "Oh, you're fine? Okay. Now let me tell you why you're a fucking idiot." And I'm sure she probably laid down the law. So hopefully this will be the last time we see Matt Hardy on a fucking cherry picker anytime soon. That's all I can say about that.
I hope so, man.
All I can say is this match, it's just way too more graphic than it should have been. They should have stopped the match as soon as Matt Hardy got injured the first time like that. Like, I was like, I mean, the way I envisioned that, it looked like it was a huge mistake Sammy Guevara did, and it got out of hand. But as soon as that stuff happened, they should have just stopped the match officially.
Because that's what's so weird. They did. That's what's so weird is that they did.
But then Matt was quote unquote stubborn and wanted to keep going with the match. And they should have really still just really stopped the whole damn thing.
Yeah,
I agree.
100%. I think we all agree on that. I mean, Tony Khan, my disappointment with him in this respect is that he had the opportunity to be the adult in the room.
I think in doing that whole segment, with the whole injury, the whole thing, I think from that point on, and you could tell rewatching it, the crowd never recovered from it. Because when you see something like that, the crowd's like, what just happened? The crowd was more concerned the whole time going, oh God, is Matt okay? Is Matt okay?
And you know what? The crowd reaction, you could see, and I agree. I think most people would agree, except for maybe the super diehard fans that are like, no, the match has to keep going. But I think most of us agreed that once that shit happened, and that it looked like, oh shit, this is actually to happen for real. That's not, that's not in the script. There was an actual in real life work accidents that can cost your life. I think people agree, okay, this shit is whoa, this match, it has to stop already. It was a big shock.
There is still time, but what was the over-under since, we talked about everything except results?
Oh, yeah. We never talked about who voted for what match.
Well, that comes at the end. That comes at the end, so hold on. Okay, so, and I know why Rikki is such a rush for that, too. Because
it's all been said. We got half the show to go yet.
Yeah. So Rikki Roxx was the only one that voted for Matt Hardy. Everyone else voted for Sammy Guevara. And oh god, unfortunately, it almost was Sammy's win in a very dark and tragic way.
I voted for Matt. I voted for Matt in the first time.
You
the first
did?
time I voted for Matt because I voted for Matt because remember I said it would make no sense that he lost when he's just been in the company for a year.
Yeah, it was 2-2 on that.
God damn it. Okay, let me adjust everything now. Okay, so you voted for, so Rikki Roxx and Matt Hardy and Jack Knives both went for Matt Hardy. So right now, Knives is in the lead, and me and Roxx got a point each, and Johnny is still at 0.